The Tale of Genji, Tamakazura, Murasaki Shikibu, of that Fu sang eteric Selu in the country of fire. Kana stain of all Hazuka Shikuchi, Akiko. Years is no matter how standing. Genji was not a little forget that the gore dead, indifferent lover of life were also obtained several people path of individuality. It was often regrettable it seems to us if there was that person. Yukon as a mediocre woman is not anything, but Genji is because there was a place to asylum think memento of the gourd. Had also been a Mons become one of the old wife today. The wife poured the wife because I've moved all in when you go of Genji to Suma. It has become the handmaiden of purple wife is now. Had loved also recognized good docile wife and his wife. In the heart of Yukon. If gourd wife was alive, will so come to think from Genji to the extent Akashi wife is love. Even women who did not have a big love, because it is compassionate Genji. Such as so come with a future guarantee not Yosa, also not enter the column. Such as purple wife. In the wife of Watamashi to Roku join I had always sad and it should so come in. Yukon might have happened to princess that had been allowed to live at home to Nishinokyo was in not knowing, and Kokorojaku of death is difficult to Yari told of the gourd. And refrain if that was told from Genji and so as not to inform it to become and was my partner now. Is that out ask for more of turmeric there was no. In the meantime, because the good people of the nanny was nins to small volume 2 of Kyushu. The family fell to Kyushu. Is that of the 4 to become the year of the princess. Nanny we make a gun to a variety of gods wants to know the ego of his mother. Wanted love to cry day and night, but had no paddle. How there is no. I want to grow to the keepsake of Mrs. Alone Princess. But I thought also want hinted lowly to myself. Et al. And when together is sad to take you to the distant land more of Fukin. A good go-between was not. Moreover iterator the whereabouts of his mother without my colleagues know. Not the use of Stonehenge in the case that has been questioned. Well familiar not become princess. Also going to stand by passing to Fukin. To would be a concern of millions of their own. Et al. Is greater than or equal to become to listen to the story. It is Fukin and may be carried out by him together. There is also a person who begins to say that such is not supposed to be forgiven. Beautiful. A princess that comes already with another noble face. When we stand placed on a normal journey officials of the ship. The people wanted very sad it was. Young princess also not forget the mother Kun. Going to the mother of a place. When can ask from time to time it was more painful the hearts of people. Therefore love the gourd wife as there is no constant tears cry of the daughters. Because the ship's journey we must go to celebrate the auspicious. Parents said the scolding both. When you see the sights of the beautiful attractions by direction of youthful feelings. Because you'll be pleased. It means we do not come out on a journey if you want to apply to your eyes this kind of scenery. But wife becomes to come. To say such a thing. The wave was also envious go back in the eyes of the people who think of only today. When that is Koko Robosoku, ship husbands is it sad. Had come to far away, in rough voice I heard a voice singing the song of meaning. Sisters wept face to face. Boat people also loose listening for Yuragan Shiku also the voice of love Oshima Furu Yasas. Kishikata also you love friend where out off the coast which is not also known whereabouts. Look at the views of the sea was making also song. Daughters even after the Cape of Gold cannot forget the gourd misses like a song called Chihaya Gold Misaki over Grey Domo we forget not Shiga uninhabitable God is wanted love. Small volume 2 family lived in the duty station and I thought that only the happiness that make catch Azuki the princess. There was also Tomisaka see your gourd to such a dream. In a dream. Such as the same kind of woman is standing next to? From the fact that always the person after you have seen the dream is like a disease. And will become as it is already dead. So sad, but I think became. Shower has been going to proceeding to the capital when the full term of office, then have lost their jobs and proceeding to the capital. There is better to have this state as effortless point of living in a rural location. Did not Hoshi also be Tokyo boldly? The person became seriously ill in the meantime. Shower also to die just before. It becomes about another 10-year-old. To see a very beautiful princess. If to be forsaken even up to me. No matter how it will be done the trouble. But had been thought in that it is also a waste that is in you grew up in humble countryside. And you subjected them to Kyoto Te. My name informed the people of your flesh. Even if we decided and beyond is left to you like destiny. Because today is a wide place. That even if they're surely good. And I think that you have to have peace of mind. Quickly its execution, but it had been thought as fades and quickly. Rather than the realization of hope. I came to die anymore here. Quote, and he was saying that heartbreaking. To the three boys, that your brand above all Senabanara. Think and be your subject the princess to Kyoto. We do reach to such as Buddhist memorial service for me. To have a will, who whether it is a fukin without saying to those who own the house. Just each other to say that is a grandchild with a reason to cherish. To one that is important to Kashizui. Died suddenly in such fu because it was the. But families are to hurry the departure of once Kokoroboso to Kyoto. Because the people who had the antipathy to a small volume 2 of the deceased were many in this country. Horribly be subject to retaliation in kind. Even while you are living in while now for a while now in Hibaka. The years had passed rapidly. Appearance of the princess became Myore was beautiful than the gourd of the mother. Whether by streaks of more of his father. Noble beauty was equipped for this man. Nature was also Lady Ishidai-sama. I heard a rumor your beautiful daughter to a small volume 2 of the house of the deceased. Such as erotic local people as well are offered to get married. Or come send a letter several people. And it is that impoliteness also. I think also is ridiculous. There was no one person this to those who will have a favor. Appearance is also the first save, because it is a grandchild that crippled the places in the body. While in the none living of their own without marriage is put to the hand. Nanny Iser, saying publicity to such a thing. Small volume 2 grandson I hear that one wheel, but regrettable thing, sorry. And to hear you say the people, Nanny also sorry feel too. No matter how you try to inform the Lord of to your father take you to Kyoto even if. Because he had become still kawaigari very it even when only you're small. My sports is to never pour even in the now. And the nanny is excited. I had made a gun to God or Buddha to be its realization. Daughters also sons also go inclined so as not to must not indigenous to the person and the adoption of land. Do not forget in my mind. But today became the more and more distant place. Princess became an adult. The 3 times of the year mourning the fate of their own had been also in long devotion. 20 to become and all the beauty around is completed. Became a person of dazzling. The place where of this small volume 2 family is the country of Heisen, etc. Powerful families in the neighborhood. Heard the rumor of the grandson of small volume 2. Come sign up the constantly marriage even now. As much as annoying. To say that the superintendent of Dei was a powerful clan that was heard in Higa. A man of a great deal of momentum in the country. Is to have a mighty military power. Also in the mind of such a country samurai. If there is erotic specific wind flow the gas. It is to have a hope of one to collect as many of the beautiful men. Superintendent of Deu that of the princess of the smaller jaws heard. Even if there is any disabled place, myself wanted his wife decided to put up with that point. It has been a kindness to courtship with people of small volume 2 was horribly thought. She in any good marriage is trying to become a nun is not a deaf ear. It was stated from the person who is standing in the audit is anxious to hear it. It came out on its own to Heisen. Audit the sons of smaller jaw were to ask for help in the adoption of the princess called to Ryoshuku. If successful, the two families or each other becomes a force. Do what reluctant to you the auspices of the armed forces. Only son of two people with me superintendent to say that such began to have a favor. We also beginning or unbecoming do suitor. But I thought that it's too bad the princess. Come to think of it, because it is a good leading man of the most convenientness to stand behind there. Also to say that princess of being hostile to this person has been found that it is impossible also. To do with Perheisen. Aristocracy. To become every tail got hit as Futkin. From public there is no way and not to be found. I think that's a rather well-being can be of marriage and audit that is a so enthusiastic. Princess in order with this destiny to Kyushu was also supposed to become the old try. Escape hidden do what you do to become even Nasu. So it does not have something to lose. Audit is. Also, the audit by reckless or more to be considered in the common sense. Quote, and brothers is to threaten the family. Only Bungo through eldest brother was not a friend of the audit. It's that too good, because there is your last will and testament of small volume 2. Yourself absolutely free subjected to this time princess to Kyoto. And say to my mother and sister. Women were also worried about crying all. Supposed to be like his mother does not know what happened to your will. At the very least doves not to those who I'm a light happiness the princess. To my colleagues remembrance, and to Mary, such as in the countryside samurais it without even knowing that you are thought not be such as. That can bear to audit your overconfident own powers to or sent me writing a letter. Characters such as even a little beautiful. Even letters that come wrote to Wasoma of the fragrance of incense in Karakami. Sentences also were not made to the object. Also it came to visit stand brought the second son of smaller Ja itself also made friends. Year is a man of about 30. Tall. Arfudo, Mono Shiku. Messy does not appear, but there is that you are in various first main. Feeling that was seen unsympathetic. Rough appearance was felt horrible just saw. Well the complexion there is a light-hearted but sprinkle talks with hoarseness. Suitor has become what to visit in the evening. But this was that in the evening of quirky spring. No but suspicious feelings. When very koishikara not a crude nadomo autumn evening kaivice carry. In the autumn might have become. Maximus of the widow me not impair the mood was sitting out. Well I would like to ask for your social gathering by all means because small volume 2 became died was fine our officials there and plenty of kindness. Becomes it dead to feel sorry within which failed to be showing your respected heart to Kara. I try to pay homage to your bereaved family in its place. To spurt, become hard, and were we correct in? Click here to become a princess is not I heard that good of your identity Tay. But my name is respected. I want you to become my wife. Wagaha guess is in the just as put to the top of my head I think your husband of the family. I will cherish. Please you very much for this adoption because not in favor of that I've been associated with this until the boring woman also several people. Not what is disliked. Even if such a womaness is attached to me. Saying that princess to that person. Et al. Tooth handling is what you like paddle. Wagahai is not going to drop from the position of after the princess. Quote, audit that the selfish and the like kept saying. However, such a deprecation. Such a thing is not. It's a very fine story how can I think? What a will unfortunately. That person is not fully become a full-fledged woman to moderate part if there is a place no. But has given up that it is the body that cannot get married. Nor poor. There is no helpless in our power. Quote, if Maximus said, I do not Yobi never to Nisara the refrain. Any blind, I will give go guarded in Azari. Wagahai will give mended to the body of the decent by. Higa one country of the gods is also everything as per the will of Wagahai from us with case. Such as the audit had been proud. When things like that day of also around many days of marriage superintendent says. Is the better of the gluteus maximus. This month declined in excuse. such was enigmatic country, and so not my best regards to get married at the end of the spring season. So when you go down from the veranda, superintendent became one to show to make a song. It breaks the ice from thinking slightly longer. Oath solder over the god of the mirror, there was heart you in if naru Mitsura haba. This waka I think that can be successfully expressed feelings that do not falsify the wagahai. The audit showed a smile. Maximus, all of that is out of tune countryside samurai. But was not bring myself to like Odin reply. Say wife a song daughters. I like would be so dat mom. Body you are jashitsu. Do not ask says. Maximus told Fu let out barely, and Odin reply not interested. It was of the mind of prey over the years, but Surashi and Yasi does the god of Hanaba mirror. Maximus Takimiwaru from while ago had become the example voice. Wait you. But the contents of the reply. Audit is to come closer to Nasori. A look at the face of unexpected fall in full. Gluteus Maximus if turned pale. Although the daughters had Nani said. Went out laughing as this happens Kitsuyoku. It sounds. From that young lady is not more of the same level as the public. When the mother is satisfied of this your edge, that one does not become to think you your Meshiku. We have already blurred mother put such as God of your name. I strangely poem is just a song. Quote, and it was far-fetched to hear. Although was the correct answer is the tale amiable song to the suitors. Oh however, the most. Not a superintendent is. It is what finesse is skillful. Wagahai is you. But there is in the countries not a chanman. Today is also in the people Wagahai that it is not a big deal what you know. Do not look down, and said but, as trying to make the other one next song. Went back as it is what could not be. While that the Jiro is turned completely over ye family hated. It was suddenly possible to obtain the help of intervention bungo. Why do I do my tale princess? Without consultation opponent, said that until the empathetic brother against the superintendent, is a settlement that in the heretic treatment to breach with their own, has become the enemy of the audit will not be anything work in the region. But through whether Mayan leads to unhappiness rather from yourself the mess around bungo as was. The agony. This without saying anything in the prince's mouth looking at the manner in which is sad and that. Of pity. Seemed to sense a state that decided to death if so. Bungo through decided to help the Tokyo of the princess in the painful measures. Had to keep up with the princess abandon Yojin the familiar even sisters. Saying Ateki, dojo, which had been using the gourd misses have become the wife of your Hyobu. And this woman who is accompanied. It was aboard the ship out of the house at night. Superintendent of Dayu is why you are trying to Koyo to pick a bride wants to choose a lucky day. Back home in April 20 days around Ahiga. Thus it is to escape the Heisen. Sister is not able to accompany they become even children a lot. Go people. In the remaining person is spared the remnants. Also but was of sad that there is no opportunity to see. Even if there then send a long period of time here for those who go. What remains of the heart is hard to abandon. There was nothing in this land. Only to break up the coast of the scenic and animus sumi of Miyano May of Matsura was painful to anyone. Neglected was also. Wonder if there is also not known to one in Izuku and Mari go even apart rowing a floating island. Only what saw us float that responsibility earlier also sailed to the waveguide which is not visible. To the wind to go. The beginning of the work of Hyobu. The rest is a song of the princess. Koko Robosoku and princess had become Utsubushi by boat. If thus escape was it was no Tahiga. Makurai and audit as horribly that seems will come step by step. By both this ship that is over specifications as saying Hayafun. Usually more speed comes out because there was. Just it is pointing to the Kyoto as early as the more dangerous to give ran tailwind. Nada of sound also passed without incident. Marine life too, is after 3 days. I wonder if a pirate ship come running to fly a small boat. There is a person who says such disaster cruel a small volume 2 of the bereaved family than the pirates are afraid more of the superintendent of Taiyu. Chilled the breast that it is its pursuers. Also carry nari only name nada of sound and the sound rioting only chest to float. The princess was not humming. Kawajiri people in the boat when I heard that was approached was the first time relieved. Examples Funeko was singing that the more pressing Kawajiri than Tahaku on. Rough their voices also died in the body. In bungo through will be keenly voice. When it is sung in came forget his wife and children to love yourself as the song also came abandoned everyone. Will happens. Followers such that the forces brought everyone there had come te. Will not the revenge to them just in case from Taif superintendent of hatred against myself. In a childish idea not think the point, and came to escape. Such a thing is likely. The bungo through weakened in the gas I cried. Hyobu also grieved to hear the voice singing of Koch wife and children imaginary prejudice travel. Brother, it will be everything you are doing. And in would you think if that came out and suddenly rebelled against a man who loves? Is the thing seemed. There is no such residence my colleagues go back even went to Kyoto. To say that acquaintance of the place. There is no reliable enough to be carried rely house. Was just made of the basis of life for one of the princess land the away. Is a person to be Fumiro to a world of fantasy and bungo kai got me thinking. As it is a single line without too late how while amazed at itself and will are you with a intention of how to be a princess went to Kyoto. Kujo to have sought out had left of someone I knew a long time ago. People of Kyushu was to foot to Mari. Here is a town nor a place lives of some. But swift people in Kyoto. Among the many towns of the women and merchants to work in the outside. But lived holding a sad heart. Even from the past been considered by died and more things only in autumn. I feel that only a dark shadow is thrown from the future it was. Through bungo that are trusted as well. Things like waterfowl has risen to land in Kyoto. Was not even no Tezaru to seek a job. It was not Deki to be ashamed of too late return to Heisen. But through bungo that it was not enough of thoughtful is only regret. Retainers that brought also left 2 people left 1 person making the excuse of something. Was just who returned fled to Kyushu. Things such as sympathy to the eldest son has become the helpless unemployed who say the gluteus maximus of the mother. I do not have anything that, such as me. Savage if you can have guarded the princess. I hope also lost even 1 person, such as his or her followers. Also I no matter how his colleagues became a powerful families. Who princess such once taken to the guys. It is also good as had died in the mental. And bungo kai was of comfort. Because it will surely lead to the desired place of sugar tea the power of the gods. I think that is a good Nasaro Yermeli. Nahata of the temple close from here in Kyushu Matsura. Because is the same god as the Hakazaki. That there when it comes to Otashi. Because there is also a cancer that has become a standu. Not may leave the Orimary that was safely bellflower in the asylum of God. Quote, and bungo through to say. It was a hachiman come to princess. Keep listening to the detailed person to hachiman of it. In the person of your teacher. Long ago summoned the parents of small volume 2 remains of the monk who knew. It was allowed to guide. The next. Because canon of Heizin the Buddha is the case is heard up to the China and there is remarkable. Of the miracle. If to pray. Surely you a princess Hunasu, struggling long and are in the distant land mercy there will be. That which may be made to the body. Quote. The bungo kai was executed recommend Hei's pilgrimage to the princess. Without using a boat and cars as of was to go on foot. To walk the long road that once not experienced was painful to the princess. But to as recommend a person. Walked in crazy and shinobu in the bitterness. Yourself will not must bear this suffering if there is any heavy zay show the previous raw. Even if the mother you are so come already dead. I want you to take me to his country if he will love yourself. But I want you to be seen still of your face, you are so come alive. Princess had been praying to Canon. The princess did not remember the face of the mother, only vaguely, but the remnants of things that parents were only coming to make the mind until today. Put yourself in these hardships was more from being Can's desperately the love of the thing called the parent. Finally to a place called Subakishi. In the late morning of me 4 days out of the Kyoto. It arrived not even feel alive. Princess is not can also walk seems to walk. Yet it came to carry the foot in a variety of ways. It was the rest in the camellia city in a state that does not move swollen back the other foot. Bungo and through, which is to ask. Followers 2 people with a bow and arrow. The other is children, samurai and nigh 3. 4 people. 3 people in total, wife of the attendant of the princess. This is the jacket from the top of the hair. I had a jar wearing a costume. Then made 2 people. This is a single line. Was not a single line of flashy haze merely. It was at the time of sunset while it is Dari asked here that or pay dang Menki to the temple. Monk is saying over there, this is the master of the house. It's for me to have had customers that I'm going to Tomeo tonight. Whom he had arbitrarily stopped. Things knowing the woman to mom. It was what you without consultation. Then that is angry. Kyushiro had heard this in a disappointing feeling. But a group of worshippers came into town as it was said of the monk. It also seems that came on foot. The seems to master a number of servants of men and women, and the 2 women was hire. Horses also 4. Then pulled 5 animals. Or conspicuous unexpected way. But was also attached. Such as samurai was a beautiful face. Monk of the master is trying Tomeo the somehow the guys on it even if there is a preceding visitor. While scratching his head out on the road. Had a follow-up to unsteady steps. Poor felt as was. But also to is that the unsightly also changed the inn. Because there was any trouble. Some people went toward the back. But, for example, are doing toward the room that cannot be seen or the rest of the people. Princess and wives and only in some toward the corner of the original room. Hadn't finished by the partition of the parlor with something like curtain. After the customer also was not a rustic people. A deeply quiet refrain. It had become a humble phase of customers both. Because a woman who came from after this was turmeric once loved the princess not forget a moment. In accordance with the years. Forever it has been considered and is my wife work cares refers that continues. The comfort of mind with agony. Ice are often am down to this temple. Also Taigi and the journey of walking and the experience of a long time did not or anything I thought. But the legs truly was lying tired. Here Bungo Kai came to the place of the curtain. Meal of the will you? Had to say with a orishiki in itself. Please give this to the princess. Such as zen and dishes be have gathered, essay totally rude. Yukon is listening to this. People who are next to thought seems not a person of class of their own. At all. Seen except by the curtain of the place. But I felt that a familiar face of the man. Who you are do not know yet. Bungo Kai know when very young Yukon. Discerning and thus look at the people who are color also is black now. Is not remember immediately. Sanjo is calling you. Looking at the woman coming out is called. It was also a person who saw the old days. In the old days of the gourd wife. But it was under the wife. Have long been used. Turmeric. Which was found to be a woman who also had come to the hideout of that 5 shall. I felt like a dream. Even if you want to see the face of a person who is a master. It was not in the fu. Such as those found except. You can at the end of the thought let's listen to the 3 articles. Some people were told Fudoshi Hyodo and long ago would be this guy. And I think would be the princess become the come here. In a hurry care. And also does not become anxious it was the. But was referred to the 3 articles from the curtain of the place. A woman that is a meal eagerly but I thought even the turmeric to not come out immediately Nakuku. It is too selfish story. It came out at last. I do not know very much. Kyushu 20 years you say, and so come to know the lowly we were and made our Kyoto personage like. Is not it your mistaken identity? Say, wearing down the crimson Saolian in country style, which is also the body had become thicker. It has been considered its own year. Even look at it. Turmeric was embarrassed. Look at me closer to the closer. Do you look familiar to my face? Saying, Yukon toward the face to the better. Sanjo said hit the hand. Well, I was coming you. I am happy. I am happy. Saying, well, do you welcome us, ma'am, now from which to worship? Sanjo began to cry loudly. When the old days, remember that there was a young 3 articles. It is in the woman, not matter in this Nara Fiore was the heart of turmeric to the thing pathetic. Do I gluteus maximus Mr. Welcome? Princess now happens your, said the people Ateki. If Yukon is heard tatamakake, it is not yet put out to the mouth. Painful that cause the disappointment is that of his wife. Everyone, Iras Hayamasu, princess will also be come into adulthood. This story above all is the gluteus maximus. If, say 3 articles went to the other side, it is needless to say that I was surprised the people who came from Kyushu. I feel like a dream. I will be seeing you in person who might how much I grudge against. Maximus came to the place of the curtain saying, from there another, such as folding screen you had to separate it from here I got rid. Yukon also Maximus also at first things were each other crying to not say. Finally Maximus is to open the mouth. Wife as now happens to you. Long years I was held up that Daigon want to see come at any time Meumeya. I because we had become a distant countryside of people. Many of your state cannot even know. Sad is it I did not have your Meshiku to live a long life. Is I see your cute face of the princess that his wife has become our go throw away. Dead in this state and it I was wondering if made to future generations of touch. And be safe to you even now. Quote, is thought the mood to continue to talk of the gluteus maximus. Then has not been informed by the delayed care at that time long ago. Even while tasting several times of bitterness. It is as desperate situation. Yukon. If there is that there is no by even talk. Wife as became another early you died. And he said, 3 people mix also 3 articles was crying I returned to throat from it. Dasa Wajadashi and gave me. A person of the inunding of people was raised to your confined to say. Came to the hurried and fast at go to temple. Both in order that it had to be parting with the feeling which is not trivial tired yet. Would I like the male you to go a show? Both said, but to avoid the fact that I think both the wonder of a person of the test both came out at the same time Shukubo while there is no while speaking of the fact also is still bungo. Through the better of the gluteus maximus, Yukon was looking for in the eyes of the figure of the princess in the secret Kyushu line, of one who was beautiful from behind to them, in a state in which very fatigue, wearing from above such things as the thin silk of the single clothes of the beginning of the summer. Turmeric people brilliant likely plow shadow of hidden hair I found it also to be too bad. It was looked thought also to be the sad thing. Although I arrived to Maido of a little walk familiar people are all effortlessly. Kyushu rose and climbing the hill while took care of him the princess. Arrived to finally Maido by the time the start of the working of the first night. Maido was crowded very in. Contact confined room that turmeric had been so taken was closer to the right-hand sided before. The Buddha, monk that had been asked of Kyushu people between the better of the West or of a non-force, was far to before the Buddha. Not merely again come here, to say that, because Yukon was Taurus the servants, leaving only men to the better. Gluteus Maximus from talking to easily bungo through the encounter with turmeric, was transferred to the princess toward the Yukon of the room. It is I, such as boring woman, but just it? So we have to serve you in now Daijo Daijin like. You are not at ease with would not anyone inconvenience even had went to such a place. Rishiku local people if you see. because Yukaki as such as a person of the temple was despised treatment. And Mata Inaku to the princess. Quote, Yukon is it you want to be detailed story. Hampered enlarged through the voice of before the Buddha. Forced to worship the Buddha Dekata. Not please look for you this man. Because we please grant us that we have to ask and not please let your bubble. Ipiobo Shimeshi eagerly turned. Minister of Genji White Nasari take care in the child this person no. Please good offices so that is achieved. Thus so will the person who is your happiness. Wasser praying. Countries of worshippers there were many. It came also the wife of Mamoru Yamato. Envy the flashy pilgrimage the first time. Sanjo was praying to Buddha. Canon of Daiji Daihi. Other please do not do it all. If it is not the wife of Dania princess, I would like you to the wife of the secretary of the Yamato. It is now in fact, us to be thick I will thank you when happiness was available separately. Quote, it icer praying place your hand on the forehead. You can thaw bitterly to say that which is not boring. I became a redneck as you were ridiculous. Lieutenant General like would have been if dat long time ago, am the minister to be entrusted the politics of the world is much less now. In the way of such your thriving home princess only do so good in the lower 3 stage ones. Also 2 stage that the local government of his wife. Quote, and say, am no good, well I wait your dat what dat you. Minister like, did you know your state in which your mansion of the wife of Dani has become prey to Kanzanji of Shimizu? The emperor like Miyuki is more than any I do not think. You will say you that terrible that drastic. Quote, I say, did not try to solve the butt seam of choice in Hana Sanjo. People of Kyushu 3 days, had to be retirement for prayer. Yukon did not think that I will be very long. Old story in this opportunity I went to the people. We called the monk in order to say to retirement for prayer 3 days toward the temple. Monk to the chore is not knowledge maybe like that of the Buddhist prayer. Going to finish that quickly variety of. Please write to pray well raise the sutra for those that always Yururi Fujiwara. In that way. Because I was able to seeing you recently. Play the gun. I will be allowed to. That you have commanded of Yukon and were also impressed the people of Kyushu. I did it to the goodwill because that choice here. The monk had said and the like. Commotion of Mito had been all night followed. Since dawn Yukon was carried out with the princess to the monk of Bohinu. Probably because you want to quietly talk. The princess is shy of coming in frugal Yukon thought beautiful. I will now be your duty to the unexpected big mansion. But look toward the woman a lot. I thought for a long time if not better enough to be compared to your appearance of the wife of the Lord. And I understand your small princess is also that you're beautiful most. Whether the princess is also Irasharu being reluctant no matter how important. It is you like all happiness itself. The princess thus Irasharu by Nasu for your frugal seal. I have to look, the wife and thank you Reshu does not seem to Irasharu inferior princess to princess of article. Council. Lord is the I'm told this. Of the royal court from the time of emperor like his Fukin Nyogo or year after. Been following of women but have seen countless. Just as it in your good looks of your after now the emperor like mother in his daughter's face. Was most excellent. Saying this is a beautiful woman I think as it is. I have to look, but does not propose as that you after like. The princess will be the result you still your small and always excellent beauty in the future. But your good looks of his wife oh man is I think that there is no lined up. Feudal lord also will come enough you know the value of your beauty of the wife. But it's hard now to put your from your own mouth to the number of the top of a beautiful woman. Like this it is also by you can become your words. You or I like the Hutan do not you think Mata Inaku to or accustomed to couple with me. I see your beauty with uniform also two of you said I do you feel that even extend life only. Anna who does not have a certain thing. I do not Irisha inferior where one princess to wife of Roku join think so. Things my name is beauty which is excellent if there is only O's behind halos even not in but There is no rush, Aru. This is let there than say I mentioned really beautiful your face. Quote, Yukon had watched The Smiling Princess. Widow of Small Volume 2 is also joyful. The people of such good you born. I was about to result in submerged us to the dark world in one step. Regrettable in Tamada Inaku. Also goodbye to daughter the son may be relied upon to discard property is also home. Now in I came back to Kyoto to the feel lonely. Such as the other countries which is not rather no. You. I make out the please say wisdom. Now please give open your luck of the princess. To the house of the nobility those who are come service. Convenience there will be a lot. Minister of your father is now. Please Hakara, as you please admitted you a princess. Quote, and Maximus were say, the princess was facing the back ashamed. It is I but is boring person. I because the Lord will please your using in your buckwheat. In which say a long time ago various story of, because the thing that mosu well that wax and I was a princess that I may leave if Lord is by all means to you say and think want to pick up to his place. Informing once Kikakon the residence. But good. Quote, even if you're the minister like it is a matter how you find of Genji. A good wife and is of now of the story. The other wife also will to come are several people. Consider how to inform the father minister of truth and please give me. The gluteus maximus to hear to say. Turmeric is the first time love gourd wife was talking about was the Genji of the person who cried on the floor of death. It was Oboshi Meshi not forget that wife became re surely you died. Wanna take care of the princess I think the keepsake of the wife. If their own is because of unsatisfactory also little children. That person was Sagasha Dace. Myself child and let us into the world to know is welcome to the home of. Italy so you say to for a long time. From my childish Kokorojaku is. You have that it has now passed away of wife well we are not able to inform. Will your husband has become to become your in small volume 2. That I know I heard your name. To your farewell from now come to the place of Lord. I was a parent you're to glimpse. What'll you become flip my cannot even be asked. I Nasaru the appointed still become a place you to still house bloomed the princess of the flower. Of the gourd of that gojo I thought that. Or what about, I was there the place to become Azid been to Kyushu of people in one step. Quote, such as the people are the old story all day. It had been or performed Nenzu together. The people who pilgrimage to Mito is mitral that can be overlooking underneath. That go before the flow is Hasagawa. Yukon. I'll look at the red kun of the full river if not asked etc. Multi-level 2 original cedar. Here glad tryst is therein which Mosuin obtained. And I said to the princess, unexpected flow to the body of the Hasagawa small roll of Thingdomone, known today tryst. To say crying princess was a very good woman felt. Even if equipped with this much beauty. If had along the unrefined estate of the rustic. It would be however be missed it that it is defect of the ball. From which you grew up to dare so much fine lady when are those? You can became in mind that you wanna thank show or widow. Mother of gourd wife just was only to say that youthful Daisama soft feel rich women. This was the look the princess was excellent with a nobility in appearance. Yukon seemed thereby to be a good place as a place called Kyushu. But also old comrade everyone was not surprising because the was has become the awkward woman. Day to go to the sunset and Mito. Spent time in the next day is also home to the Bonenzu. Since the autumn wind was a place to be remembered the blown-up chill coming of from the bottom of the valley, the heart of Monosabashi people was much less sad. The princess from the story of turmeric. Also myself that was the pessimism so as not to have even luck decent. And the prosperity of the father of the house. Low status of people the happiness is even everyone loved children who were born as a mother above. It has been found that it has become to feel that might be was reached at the time to be saved anymore. When is each other asked the quarters well in both to go. No longer know or parted with each other enough vigilance and is because there was a place near home of Yukon also Roku joined. Know that not far both the inn of Kyushu people. The people we felt that was encouraged. Yukon was attendance immediately to Roku joined from the journey. Princesses of the hurried talk from the heart to want to get quickly the opportunity to. The upon entering the gates to be a special luxury house already all of the era's Kansas Roku joined. Coming car. The outgoing car are countless noticeable, such as the seem to turmeric, and it is to the mind dazzling to freely enter and leave as a wife of one of this house, to not come out at night to the front of the master couple. Turmeric hold up to the room also was the pensive. From the next day the luxury of wife came up from the home yesterday. There are also several people, especially the Yukon has been called to his wife. Yukon was proud. Genji also was in the living room of his wife. I guess was going to Y Long house. A little different, and when you are in such as unlike that of the or not singles place, and so far I wonder can also rejuvenated be at home. Funny that I'm sure is Ataro intends. The Hutan of the Gasanoi and the like of example Genji says. Although there then had gotten just 7 days you free. You will find in the not quite in such interesting things. I come to the mountain. We found your sorry person. Who? And Genji asked. Suddenly also to the story. That you are pulling the muscle from the old story that is not to his wife to this. And such as whether Mrs. speaking only to Genji is not reluctant discomfort turned to listen to the later story turmeric. I am wondering. And I would like to detail talk. To say, I was pointing to say it because I came also the other wives. Genji couple are relaxing by lit and light was beautiful. Queen 27 became the 8th. It is their prime of beauty. Beauty even within this small time day was look in the eyes of Yukon whether joined newly. I think the princess and beautiful. Do no think of those seen as not inferior to his wife. Also a beauty on one stage. Such as seems that there is only this difference of the unhappy people and the people there seems happy to Mrs. and Yukon thought. Since the beginning of the bedroom. Genji in order to make stroke the legs have called turmeric. Because young people are annoying one and I do not want to roll still long time ago. Familiar of person I be also be what you know in both congenial. To hear of Genji is to say, the young wife who was laughing. It's right, whatever it is I am also allowed to, but we are fine. I only troubled that your Hutan was are talking about and so on. Wife he does not bad mood is also Mukashi and Ajumi each other is so much good friends. Crisis rise because never not generous person. Genji was laughing saying such. It seemed also beautiful than normal if there is a charm. These days her public office is have turned into more of quiet. Because I was Genji to enjoy and to try the other party also over a period of carefree to say Hutan. Well as to the wife at home. Mizaru toying also to old woman. Such as turmeric and it is. I have found it what I or man. Was brought to become acquainted with such Heluvashu Genja. And Genji said, you told us a terrible thing. There then I found the people of Yukari of that Hakume gourd. Yes, for it's a pathetic story. Where were you up to this? And was asked to Genji, the truth is hard to say. There is came to come live in the lonely suburbs. As old wife also have because there is we were attached to you. Thank Hinashu and we will also previous story. And Yukon was saying, it was already known. Because of student who have not know that circumstances can remain. And say so Genji hide. I am what Ohama, I wish to not know what's the story, sleepy. The queen's blocking the ear in the sleeve. What kind of appearance, not inferior to the old days of the gourd. Anani is but had been proposed that do not do your will. There seems to have become very you clean your will. It sounds good, about who, how about this person? You're welcome, so much. When Yukon say, embarrassing seems good in any case it is peace of mind if like me. Deliberately was the parent-ish Genji says. Genji from the time I heard the story was talking about the princess of the problem by calling the only time to time Yukon one person. I'll be in to welcome that person to Roku join. In the past also I often in the case of something. I because he had become a dark mind think that has lost ya go with that person. To not have to be immediately to the carry of Kikades. Neglected by his. There is no such need get admitted to the father of the minister feels sorry also that is. Because he is not a fuss to children of many it is carried out by entering there is no personing was born from the great mother and it. Eventually also will be a hard time. My better it is because of a small number of children. But her daughter was discovered in a place which is not stunning both keep saying to the world. I Mizuru in Kashizui also enough young nobleman who is the subject of love. Quote, have heard the words of Genji. Yukin was glad to be a likely opened luck of the princess's Koshite. Everyone nothing. Oboshi Meshi and there is up to even the will be announced to the Lord Keeper of the Privy Seal. And not you like your hand you will find that it cannot be also somehow instead of the wife that we had may leave the unfortunate you died the way sin if now to help raise will you lightly. Quote, when you can say, it's the blame also like that I still. Genji had tears also with a smile. It was short fragile edge. I always have thought of that person. I also his wife who have come together in this house. Was not a person you felt the love of the more I thought that people at that time but only that everyone is not as short-lived as that person. Even though there is often Armidoki from my not a forgetful man. That you care only just Yukon to the keepsake of that person is unfortunate care though it was all the time that, thus would be glad if you can pick up to my hand a princess. Quote, saying, Genji wrote the first letter to the princess. Genji unforgettable be felt disillusioned with that Tsuetsumu Hana. First, that way the daughter of beauty who grew up in adversity. In the written reply of the letter from the biological child is also not think that necessarily not. Somuka the expectations anxiety of the minister that person is tried to determine. In the back, which seriously wrote to bits and pieces. That we worry about so much that I am of you. I flip extinct as to DJI of raw old 3 crest as Mishami to know to ask without knowing. And I wrote, Yukon went with this letter on its own. Described the intention of Genji. Clothes for the princess. Such as the wives of the clothes of the material was given a lot. Genji seemed to consult with his wife. And ordered everyone is also a thing that has been able to place the clothes engagement. The color of the tone. Because was they gave to choose a particularly good thing assortment of piled. Had long in the countryside of Kyushu it is that most were reflected with those dazzling unusual in the eyes of the people. Princess itself. Such a fine even without a memorabilia. And so on would be happy if were obtained with a little gift from the hand of the father. But the first to start a person with the negotiations do not know is a surprising and the like. Implicitly to say, it was who think painful to receive a gift. Yukin was let to say a deep faith that was signed between the mother and Mr. Genji to the princess. People were also intercession from the side. If now be and even in your fine you kindly of the minister of then Genji. Yukin where I am recognized quite naturally from the better of the Lord Keeper of the Privy Seal. Like, as parent and child of the edge and Mosu things extinct there are those that do not constantly but there matter what the result of praying intently want to see you even turmeric. Do we have a had a lead up for the gods? You're both your surely if I rash share your body even be your strong when you get used to it will be with you. Quote, and it is also of comfort. First early reply to say was cause written blame the princess in all Gakari. His was the fu think ashamed of him because of that already a Inakasha princess right. Letterhead is a Karakami which was island incense of Takamono. Only kept the root nuclear servants to float if what you DJI Mikuria not become number. I wrote to faint with, character is ephemeral, but in were those that also appear as there is no power. Genji was relieved to see that not bad of feel-good goods. And where to try the place where you lived the princess Genji was thinking. South of Narwhal no palace that was love, since the individual delicate life is a place that is the center. It is sorry for young and too many people out women. in the narwhal that is your residence of Nakamaya is. Although love is also worthy of a quiet palace in such a person. Genji thought in not regards also been heard to the world, as was the wife of Nakamaya, that has become to some. But the west of the pair in the northeast of the flower Chisato of residence library is a little sober place, was the idea of trying to live to it transferred the book to another. People who are in close-natured friendly, because it is quiet person. It was thought that it would be good to live with friends with flowers Chisato. It was not until this was to even Genji the story of the old gourd wife. Mrs. Uranium know that there was such a secret. I trouble living of people it is guess. But you may not must have my leave to hear proceeds from better of me. Even if speak the old days of such memories. Even such a time to is because you're a special person. A state cannot bear the information that I think the deceased was visible in this saying Genji. I do not mean just my experience. I was look good but that of others. As to the much jealousy not be a relationship thing that woman is that so much love each other. There are many people who are bothered by it from a woman yourself horribly amorous life while only the house and just in case is also the them naturally self-indulgence. But we have also several lovers, which seem to not become a Karen and Karen in the person as is remembered. If you were alive I'll be sure to love as much as people in the north of the town. Everyone is that there is no person of the same type. The person seems talented woman, fine but lacked a point as referred to as do, was cute and elegant. Quote, when Genji say things like, but if I do as much as compared to the wave of Akashi. And Mrs. said, the palace of the people of the north even now. Mrs. was jealous and is a woman that is loved unfairly wonderfully. Looking at the small princess as heard before and the cute seal. Genji thought it better to say his wife might be the most those things were things out of everyone. In September, that the princess is going to move to Rokujoin it did not go in easily. It was first started looking for a beautiful young wife in dojo. Though it is out of substantial house in the stomach it was time to Kyushu. Hire to soon find a woman, such as came down to the country, although they had been attached to the wife of the princess. For that of the escape was suddenly done to come to discard all those people. It was not even anyone as in addition to the three people. Because today is a wide place. And should ask a person like that city woman. It is to bring to skillfully looking for things like that who if it were a princess is not inform anyone. Once transferred the princess to Gojo of the House of Turmeric, where it all even more to know if the clothes Shitaku wife went to Rokujoin in October. Genji told that the new princess to Flower Chisato, people who love me is I had gotten hiding somewhere in the suburbs and unnecessarily pessimistic, but, because there was also a child, for a long time but I had not searched. But there is no place to get any such reason was placed in the other until the full-fledged woman thought to be kept greeted also. Immediately when the child entered the ear, we decided to make Kisa to hear. The other mother thee is dead. A lieutenant general because you are asked to your children. You might want to have there one more person. Take care of please doing it too. Because I came to a simple life. It is often rustic will you. Please doing tell me to put on something. Quote, really such people as did you become to have you? I did not know any. Daughter is in one person. Because I was too little lonely. It is a good thing. Hana Chisato is to say the Daisama. It was a very good woman who was a mother. I can be Ozuki with peace of mind because you also a friendly person. Genji said and the like. Since that this to be where I am allowed to burn the mother Roshiku care was boring so much less. I think it is good. Living in Goishoas. And Flower Chisato was saying, etc. Wife without knowing that it is a princess of Genji. And it will become a welcome any person. To the same place. Not to sports a wife to antique treatment. I had to say. The princess came moved to Rokujoin together and the wife who was rode in the car of about 3 cars. It was furnished without inakabi because such attire wife also Yukon was attached. Other silk such a necessity in these people from the place of Genji as the had been to Taikyo. That evening immediately Genji came to the place of the princess. People who had gone to Kyushu was also heard long ago named source of light. But now faint lights have also forgotten that the people of the rare beauty in one of the country house has been existing in this world was became even terribly to see the face of a little look. Genji because the rip of Kicho to light. When Yukon is open the door of the place that come through the Genji. It looks to the privilege of entering this doorway I have gotten. It entered laughing, sitting to the front of the parlor of the veranda. Light is too dark. Do not like the night the coming of lover. Although parents of the face have heard that's what you want to see, but what in this light? Do you not think so? Saying, Genji is impelled toward the little next to the Kicho. Princess if there is a feel good to be a shy manner in which sitting in thinner body. Genji was glad. How about a little more cheerful? It seems to be too much affectation. And because Genji says, Yukon was asked to close by raising a little off the wick. It's too shy evil rules. And Genji was a little laugh. It was a princess of the eyes. Such as those thought to really not treated like a stranger any. Genji says each parent, I was allowed to just worry, for a long time your whereabouts do not know. In this way even if it is able to meet, still feel like a dream. It is I shall not bear is recalled that in the old days in the mind you. So talk also cannot be good. Quote, was Genji wiping his eyes saying, it's not a lie. Genji was reminded sad the field of bereavement of a gourd. Try to count a year. You will not even example things like that were not met so long a parent and child. It was reproachful fate. Another because you was not even in may have just shy like a little girl year. To date to talk and I want to? Why do you only you shut up? Quote, and when the Genji hear you say the resentment, the more unexpected no one had to say princess but was embarrassed. Since I was Naguratsuki too. And not stand foot unexpected becomes Kazoro how pathetic in Omulane Zang Tos. And should not stand feet distant country. Or that I had been alive. That we are dead there then not putamen. The faint speaking of was the voice as it is the speech of the gourd. Genji while showing a smile. You to repay came to pass through the painful way of life just as could you to anyone not of me. To say, Genji while satisfying to say the first time in the things of intelligence seems princess. Genji went back to give a variety of attention to turmeric. I am delighted that it was a good woman of feeling. Genji said that the also to Mrs. Since it had long, barbaric local. But I was despised and would have been finished to the one sorry. I hear was about rather become ashamed. That have such a beauty to his daughter to the world and to inform. It's not push the Ono in such Hyobu lord of the temple. Which often become come on. I such because there is no such my array of daughter not only show no nonsense direction in my house. Also love supremacist. Let Miss Ao and Kashizui to the gym. Trying to Tano I see still a young nobleman are Keso the first time you are not made. Quote, when Genji says, I strange parental love, terrible person and such incite the competition of suitors. The queen says, it was so. It was to handle so you were my heart like you now. Blindly not make, such as his wife, was to keep the daughter. The blushed wife looked really youthful. Genji while attracted the ink stone to hand, had written as waste writing. Koi, he over only asked it while Tamakazura any streaks come sovereign. Poor thing, both to see that in himself. The person was the mother of Tamakazura's. As was said of Genji before, I thought the queen and seems to people that I love deeply. Genji is also the lieutenant general of the sun. Because I summoned this such a daughter. Because he said it will be dating be careful. Lieutenant General went to visit immediately to the palace of Tamakazura. It's boring human being, but we please put us in your mind that you weave such a brother. Please take a call you my first if there is patronage. When did you move here also? Take care in what you do not propose we did not do. Quote, And I have heard Seifu faithful, who know that the truth was as much as I feel embarrassing to. When the material to be Kyushu era of the residence of the princess who is the service of very hard also try than I think the current brilliant equipment of Roku join. It is such as the gluteus maximus. As were those dying scenes the countryside seemed. All are in the noble house decorated with refined taste. As a close person who is a parent brothers began their appearance. Because it is the more respectable people blinding. May look down on Dani also the first time 3 articles in this happens I am curious. Let alone auditive day who has been trembled even just remember. It Tamakazura was also recognized that it is a gift of sincerity of everything also bungo through. The word meta also so say bungo through turmeric. To the life of the discipline and sure to say that it is necessary. It has been elevated to the bungo through one of them when the steward and butler with Tamakazura has been determined. Through bungo had been completely turned to the countryside up of the unemployed person has become suddenly cheerful about herself, and morning and evening attendance to Roku join that did not have such convenience in and out to hunt. I thought bungo through got a large happiness. Not stunning that it is now capable of office in accordance with a large number of samurai. Even all these Genji must be said that what happened from compassion depth. Made at the end of the year. New Year's interior decoration. Even when to distribute the spring of costume. Genji were handled the same as the noble misses at all Tamakazura. This may look the person who, no matter how you know a good hobby to unexpectedly. Also there is also an uneasy feeling that unexpected may be the assortment of any wrong thing. It is toward the Tamakazura already decided to give the ones that finished in costume but when in the textile teacher of Grenard's tailoring of the elongated and small uchigi of thick fabric that created put the idea in all his strength that Genji was seen order to hand. I will have quite a lot. Wife who like to also try to be give by the good things each. Since Genji said to his wife and the queen is also a thing you are finished at the sewing engagement. Showed also to everyone out by Genji thing was made at hand. Queen of purple Genji but in that you have a hobby and the ability to be manufactured such a fashion classes to have respect for this wife. Silk hit was the glue that came finished from raising field of out of here and there also Genji by comparing dark red, such as a variety divided zoo of color. Let me put along with it Kuromo Hitsu. In such clothes box which was to have around luxury wives is. This to it. It was to have made a gift to remain command of Genji and so on to this. Mrs. even look together. Because I have made all good. Because now, kimono in the human face is not good thing is get separated give you to resemble a well suits are likely to in your face of those who are calling you. And say, Genji laughed. It is for that ignorant face trying to imagine the face of the person you wear. Even so, do you wear how you are? And he said, I do not go out also confident that it kyo which kimono to their face that looks in the mirror. It was the queen to say truly shyly. Light pink of a float pattern calves of small uchigi of thin rouge purple clothes was chosen to Genji as Chakuriyo wife. To elongate the color of cherry blossoms. Along with a bright red saolien. Harugi of the individual princess was chosen. Thin onendoiro seaweed shellfish has become the pattern in. Despite the visible traces of much finesse to weave, it was accompanied by a saolien of dark red to those not in the flashy appearance of felt flowers chasado. Crimson clothes of bright yellow flowers the color of the elongated was determined a Chakuriyo of the princess of the pair of the west in the same place. While unseen way, there is a place to be nodded secretly to Mrs. that the Lord Keeper of the Privy Seal is similar of Tamakazura to while looked like a beautiful person is also not a mix of gloss place face gorgeous, was imagined by the chosen of the jacket of this yellow. It is not be seen out in color. But Genji when looking at the Moritz, knew not the calm of the wife of the heart. Choosing the kimono think the appearance of another where people trying to quit. It just makes angry the person who I got. No matter how the also material well-made kimono, if there's a limit. The human face is ugly because some of the depth, even if the saying also such a thing. Genji is the color of the fabric of the willow to chakrio of Suitsumu Hana. Choose from a woven elegant arabesque, because it is from was one that glossy feel, is secretly smiled there were, in white uchigi to the feel that China style that is unlike flying butterflies and birds on the branch folding of plum. A look at the Akashi Mrs. has been selected along with a bright dark red clothes. Purple Mrs. insulted it feels similar to the was little. The nun Mr. of Utsuzumita did find an interesting coat of fabrics of blue dark gray. It was to give along with a thin yellow of clothes that had been tailored to the clothes of Genji. Genji also to both and to wear on the same day was doing accompanied it says. Whether those who own selection has became nicely Genji is think of going to see. From the wives or Yoko wrote the reply with a view of each of the personality. The gas but Mitoya Tama was also a variety of issues to use. Suitsumu Hana are in the east of the hospital, such as Mitoya Tama because not be in the Roku join is to unexpected must issue a Nokita thinking. But this man was out also only thing wore my head because I was had been unexpected character. Without to formal. The other is around the cuff of the bright yellow of Uchigi that the discolored to a dark color. Is the overlap. Such one off sheet without. Suitsumu Hana queen of the letter of Danshi to the fragrance of incense. To the swollen thick become a little life products. Let we do me was I will rather darken my heart. Wet the sleeves are we doing to do hesi our clothing because the grudges carry if you look wearing. It had been written with. Character is a very old-fashioned. Genji is are you laughing face. Such as not help but funny while looking at it. Misses the food that what happened was watching. Genji saw that bad of Mitoya Tama that out of Suitsumu Hana to use. To know became bad mood. Use went standing softly. And the samurai was to own our fellow and funny story this. If it is people who are bothered by the terms of that extra 2 out Genji was wondering. I take it from a fine poet. The queen is old-fashioned song. Red in clothing from. Something that cannot be away from the representation method of resentment that Ruru broke get wet. Etc. I also his associates have entrenched. Even thing is how the place is also not affected by the representation method in the new words. Also thing hate the old man found at the time of the poetry party. Such as the sight or 3 characters that always madoy the words to say friendship is used. To the old days of love who recite the song of and to be placed in a 3-phrase me the word. Revenge people look bad opponent. Seems that is before and after it the center even it wanted to get anything and even. Genji told his wife and the like. Toka guide grass of various songs. And watching all the time that the air collected of Toka attractions of the name to use for the song. People who are with a habit of using an extracted word and it is. What it then cannot be other how to make look. From that drafts and implements of Kamiya paper became a right of the Prince of Hitachi. It was me the Queen's lend to say that reading. Song of the spinal brain. Song of the disease. Such a thing is written too many and because there was. Etc. I originally less talent worth of the better. Just because I saw it. Because there is no well become expected of the song. As it is difficult I was returned to. Song of people who are familiar with it. Anyone I do not that there is an old place like Meika's. Queen of Suitsumu Hana that have been laughed at by Genji so as not to be a comic is poor. Mrs. Seriously. Why now immediately return? Either would was better to be Europe to show to princess and allowed photographed. But there was old the book is also in my book. Insects holes nothing was read and open. That then have through in your book you lame songs. Such as I do not know at all is not more badly clumsy. And he said, it is not necessary such a thing to the education of the princess. Earth is not intended nice feeling that you are in a professional house specifically absorbed in. One thing such thing as a woman. and say, why do any tricks people it but would not good it is. Just leave only to ideological credible person. Well, I want education to the woman to the extent there is no peace in crack. Thing Genji is liked, that the absence of food trying to write a reply to again Suetsumu Hana, Mrs. Since I became a good return ya right and you is rude not Ashara somehow again. To say, it had been encouraged to write, because there was of kindness Genji. Immediately Odin reply was written. To very easy. Even with non-Kaizen saying Omoi the night of the clothing pieces threshold what do it? It is your most. It seems to have a letter that. Thank you for your viewing. If you like please subscribe to the channel. I am very encouraged.